Hello and welcome to Britcar. I'm Rachel Downey and we're going to be bringing you all the latest news and action from the MSA British Endurance Championship this year. Coming up in the next hour, our studio guests David Hornsey and Owen O'Neill will be taking you through the first round of the season at Silverstone. We will be bringing you the pole lap with Javier Morcillo and also some in-depth information from the SB Racing team. But first, if you're new to Britcar, what's it all about? Well, we sent Danielle Christie to find out more.
So what is Britcar?
Britcar for us is one of the few places where you can get such a good mix of cars from Ferraris, Lotuses, Marcuses, all racing together over a good long endurance race. Can't get that anywhere else.
A bit different to us from Mazda racing we've been doing before, so racing for 45 minutes, well, hour and a half rather than 20 minutes. Bit of a step up for us, really.
Average length of the races, I think something between 2 and 3 hours.
It's just a great bunch of cars and a good fun way to spend a Saturday afternoon.
You know, I've been doing sprint cars, so looking forward to the 3 hour, see if I can cope with it, and obviously got to put in a good times and keep the car on the track.
Britcar is a series for any car to race, so you can race any car you like in it. It's purely done on a power to weight ratio.
We always have a good time, to be honest.
Well, winning the class would be amazing for us, but we've got our work cut out.
Absolutely everything. Got to win. That's what we're here for.
Oh, it's just incredible fun, isn't it?
We've been looking forward to the start of this race season more this year than we have done for a long, long time.
It's pretty much everything, consumes every minute of every day.
There needs to be an alternative to the British GT Championship in the UK, and James Tucker does a great job with the championship. He works with the teams, he understands that we've got our own sponsors and we've got our own ambitions. So for me as a team, without it, I would only have one option to race GT cars. So it's perfect for us, absolutely perfect, yeah.
The Britcar Championship visits some of the country's finest circuits: Silverstone Grand Prix, Donington, Snetterton, Brands Hatch, Alton Park and the fabulous Brands Hatch GP.
A nice easy class structure to follow. Colours, the biggest class, that's where you're going to find the Moslers and the Ferrari. Nice and easy, nothing complicated here.
For me, this is exactly what Britcar is all about. Amazing cars, serious drivers. The tension is building. Let's get ready!
So, Owen O'Neill, driver of Top Cat Racing, Marcos Mantis. What is Britcar to you?
To me, I think it's pretty much what a lot of the guys mentioned in the VT there. You know, there's the opportunity to race against lots of other marques of cars.
Yeah.
We're obviously in the Marcoses, pitted up against things like the Ferraris, the Porsches, Moslers, etc. It's also a great way to spend a Saturday afternoon. And it's a lovely balance for me personally to be able to go racing with serious teams, but who still know how to enjoy themselves. So for me, it isn't too over the top in terms of the professionalism or seriousness of the sport. I want to go and enjoy myself, and Britcar offers me that.
And David, what's Britcar to you?
Well, more than just a job. Britcar, it's endurance racing at its heart. It's very different to sprint racing. Sprint racing is just all about the driver in the car going as fast as he can and beating the other guy on the track. Endurance racing is a team sport. It involves 2 or 3, even more drivers in one car working together with the team, with the pit crew to get the best result. And it's bringing a whole group of people together to a like-minded goal that it makes it a real interesting and fun weekend.
Well, thank you both. Next up is the first instalment of Team In Depth with the SB Racing team, followed by Javier Morcillo pole setting lap.
Each round will be following a team in depth, and this time we have SB Racing Engineering. So guys, how's it gone for you today so far?
Oh, we've had an excellent day. I was 1.7 seconds quicker than any other time around Silverstone. It's my first time here, and Andy's put us on to P2. P1 was just 1/10 of a second behind, so a great result by Andy.
Excellent. And how are your thoughts on your day so far?
It's gone pretty well, yeah, not too bad at all. We didn't get a lot of testing yesterday. We had a few issues with the car, so we didn't get as much time as we'd like to set it up. But it's coming along well, and I think there's a bit more to come from the setup, so we'll see how we go. It was a good qualifying.
Excellent stuff. And what do you hope for the rest of the day?
Well, we hope to finish first of all, be safe and sound. That's the most important thing. And for us, a podium would be fantastic in the top 3. Anything better than that will be absolutely awesome.
Excellent. Do you have any special tactics that you're going to take through with you?
I don't think so. I think we just see how the race pans out. It's 3 hours, it's a long race. There's no point pushing like crazy because you just destroy tyres. So it's a matter of sort of getting a strategy to work for us. And I think we've got some good ideas, so we'll see how we go. We need to really see what the pace of the Mosler is now. It's had some mods done over the winter and see what it can run at. And then we know where we are. And we take that through to the next round.
Excellent. How do you mentally prepare for something as long as this?
Well, ordinarily we don't give interviews to TV crews, to be honest. It's really hard. Now's the worst time because you start counting down. For me, I count down the days and then the hours and then the minutes, and then it all happens. And after a couple of laps, you're absolutely fine. But up until that point, it's really, really tough. I think Brundle said on F1 once that your heartbeat is twice what it normally is at rest. So it's very, very nerve-wracking, I have to say.
Well, don't worry, I'm not going to get out the heart monitor to find out exactly how fast your heart is beating. But thank you very much, guys, and good luck with the rest of your day. Here at Silverstone, one of the most famous tracks in the world, we're going to go and have a chat with Javier Moncello to find out what it's like to be on pole.
Welcome to Britcar Round 1 at the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. My name's Duncan Vincent and I'm joined here with Joe Tanner, and we are at the home of British motorsport.
Down the start-finish straight into the first corner, Copse, the original F1 first corner. Down through this fastest section on this circuit, the Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel Complex, and down the Hangar Straight, the cars hit top speed before Stowe.
Through Stowe, very tricky corner, through the Vale, and you've also got Club. Then you go past the brand new Grand Prix pits on your right hand side and through Abbey into Farm, and then it starts getting technical, Joey.
Yeah, a really fast section leading into the super slow Village, Loop, Aintree, onto the Wellington Straight, and then it's another tight complex.
Through Brooklands, past the BRDC Lodge, through Luffield, and then a very, very quick man's corner through Woodcote. And that is a lap of Silverstone. It's 3.66 miles, it's 5.8 kilometres, and it rocks with Britcar.
So would you like to tell us a bit about your lap?
Sure, let's see it. Well, straight away, first corner, very important. The speed into it is very important. Car was a bit oversteery, but just fine. I could put the throttle very early, so I knew at this point that it was going to be a good lap. This is a very tricky bit, very fast corners, bit of oversteer there. Trying to be very early on the throttle for the long Hangar Straight, which I managed even though I had a bit of a moment there. Onto 5th gear, onto 6th gear, and now is the most difficult braking point of the circuit because we arrive very fast and it's a very fast entry to the corner. Aiming for a very late apex, again oversteer on the car, so that was a bit of a loss of moment. Chicane, very slow, very slow, very tricky to slow the car, bit of a lockup. And then we're going to come into another fast straight, so this corner should be flat. I didn't manage to do it quite flat, so it was a bit of a disappointment. Long straight. Then again a very fast corner, very tricky, very easy to lose the car here. And we come into the new complex. Very slow, very easy to outbrake yourself. I did manage a quite okay lap. Again, a bit of a moment of oversteer. The slowest corner of the circuit, very important, the traction. This should be flat, and I managed to do it flat twice. This is one of the times which we got the lap time. Now, this braking is very important because it was very slippery at this session, so the car tended to oversteer a little bit, as you can see. Back to the throttle. The last corner, again, really important because you must be very early on the throttle, and it's very easy to overshoot it. Back into the main straight, onto 6th gear, and this was the quali lap.
21st on the grid, we have the Lotus Elise of Gower and Pitch. 20th on the grid is Glynn and Clark in the TVR. Clark and Gibson next up, 19th in the BMW.
18th is Jarvis and Parr. And 17th is Milham and Guglielmi. In 16th position, we've got the Chevron GR8 of Lunn and Stewart.
Next up, we have a lovely G55. It is the Smiths. Another Ginetta G50 this time, 14th on the grid, Molam and Murrells, and 13th is the Webbs in a BMW.
In 12th position, we've got Arbor and Poole in a BMW M3 GTR, and we'll soon see why there's no picture of that car on the grid. And in 11th, we've got Hankamer, Smith and Cuff, a 3-driver pairing. In 10th position, we've got a Ferrari 458 of Phillips and Story.
Adams, Green and Byford next up in the Lotus. 8th on the grid is a lovely Porsche 997 GT3, and 7th on the grid is the Ferrari.
Marcos Mantos in 6th with Jones and Tilley. And in 5th position, we've got Byton and Finmore and another Marcos. Repeating itself, another Marcos Mantis with O'Neill and Huggins before we get to the sharp end.
Yeah, the pointy end of the grid sees our SR2 third on the grid. The runner-up alongside him is the Bailey car, the 430 Ferrari, and the pole position Mosler.
That's the grid. It couldn't possibly be any closer when you actually have a look at it. Only 1/10 of a second separating the two front cars over a whole lap of the Silverstone Grand Prix track. This is going to be an absolute spanker of a race. We cannot wait for it to happen. Britcar is about to erupt onto your television screens.
Competition time now, and for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Britcar 24-hour race on the 21st to the 23rd of September, including VIP hospitality, all you need to do is answer this question correctly. The venue for this year's Britcar 24-hour race and the host of round 1 of the championship is A. Silverstone, B. Monaco, C. Spa. To enter, all you have to do is visit the Britcar website at www.britcar24hour.co.uk/competition, and entry is free. That's it for part 1. Join us after the break for the start of the race.
All the excitement and action of Trans Am racing will be on GoRacingTV.com this season. You can keep up with all the action from the track each weekend during the 2012 Trans Am season, streamed to you over the internet daily. Now, quick videos keeping you in the middle of Trans Am action in the middle of your busy day. Watch your favorite drivers from your mobile phone or tablet with the new GoRacingTV.com app. But coverage doesn't end there. When the weekend's over, on your schedule, check out 30 minutes of Trans Am this week on GoRacingTV.com, GoTransAm.com, or on YouTube. Get the full behind-the-scenes look of the championship weekend. Trans Am has enjoyed a long racing history. Join us as we write the next chapter of that history. America's Road Racing Series, stepping into a new era of Trans Am racing.
Welcome back to Britcar. Now, David, just before the break, we saw the qualifying. How important would you say the qualifying is?
In a 3-hour race, particularly a multi-class race, such as we got with Britcar, qualifying isn't the be-all and end-all. It's good to be up near the sharp end, but it doesn't matter if you're not right there or thereabouts. Yeah. But for the 3 cars that were really going for pole position in that session, all the drivers in that are entered into the Sunoco Daytona Challenge, where the winner at the end of the season gets to win a free drive in the Daytona 24-hour race, courtesy of Sunoco Racing Fuels.
That's incredible.
And the pole position is a lot of points towards that prize. So we saw in the qualifying session that we had the Javier Morcello car was in second place to the Bailey and Schultz car, and he decided to go out for one more try just to try and get those extra points towards his challenge.
Clever man, clever man. And Owen, how important is it for you, and what would you say your qualifying tactics are for the 3-hour race?
As David said, qualifying isn't the be-all and end-all, but I think everybody likes to see themselves doing well in their class. It was especially gratifying for us. It was nice to see 3 Mantises heading Class 2, and it was nice that we were the number 1 of those 3 cars. But certainly, I think it's good to be reasonably near the front of the field, because you don't want to get caught up in a load of traffic if you can help it, so you can settle into the race reasonably early. In terms of tactics, my co-driver Neil in this instance is a faster driver than myself, so I went out, did my best, did quite well, got it into the top 10. Then we popped Neil into the car, sent him out, and he qualified it on class pole for us, so we were very happy with that.
So is it best to start off maybe a bit slower than speed up, would you say?
Well, we did that by default because I was in the car first and then Neil followed me. Thank you. But I think it very much depends on the day as well. You know, if the weather looks like it might become inclement, or if there's a chance of red flags at certain circuits, then you want to try and Bagsy a good, solid, quick lap early on. But at Silverstone, we had good weather, no red flags. So as the time went on, the times were just dropping. So we had to just keep on pushing for the whole session.
Yeah, it was perfect race conditions.
It was great and exciting. You know, watching the guys in Class 1, hardly anything. I think it was a 10th separated. First and second.
Yeah, really, really incredible start. Right, well, it is race time now, and just as we start, Danielle caught up with the SB Racing team.
Well, I just saw you doing your last few minute details on there. What exactly was up on the track?
Nothing on the track. We just like to be there, just ready to preempt any problems. Just keep the battery ready to start the car.
Do you think you're going to do well?
We hope so. It's a new car for us. You know, we had a good year last year with the challenge car. Obviously, this car's a bit of a different animal. So yeah, fingers crossed. I think we should have a good result.
Excellent stuff. Well, good luck with the rest of the race.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
So here where the cars are tightly packed behind the pace car, and we are about to go live for the first race of the year. The Pool and Abra BMW's got to start for the pit lane, and everybody's tightly bunched up behind the safety car, and away we go. The lights go out and we are racing here at Silverstone for round number 1, and then Mosler tries to get to the lead as they go through the first corner at Copse, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It's very tight as they head up towards the fast complex here, Joe.
Yeah, it's a bad start by the Mosler. A little bit cautious. The Ferrari here is reaping away at the front. The Mosler trying to hang on as they head through this really fast section and out on towards the Hanger Straight.
Hanger Straight, one of the fastest parts of the circuit, as the SR2 Rapier comes up the inside, and that really is shown that the circuit, either a little bit of ripples in that, or the setup on that car, maybe just not 100%, Joe.
Yeah, it certainly shows the bumps there, doesn't it? I think bouncing around, his teeth will be chatting together.
And back into the technical section already as the cars all stream in down the Wellington Straight, and they go 4 wide on the brakes as they come in towards Brooklands. Right, close stuff, and it's early racing. It's early days in a long endurance race for that, Joe.
You wouldn't think it was a 3-hour race, would you? That's like a 10-lap sprint there as they head back onto the start-finish straight. Meanwhile, the Mosler starting to hunt down the Ferrari through the fast section and see if he can get past them as they head out on towards this fast part of the circuit down the Hanger Straight towards Stowe.
You've got to watch in these races. Oh, that's the number 88 car, that's the Ben Gore car, and that's in trouble very, very early doors when the race about to happen. But you've got to watch in these races. It's a 3-hour race, and what you don't want to do is have a little bit of silly contact right at the beginning.
Yeah, it's a long race, but these guys have got the bit between their teeth. You can see the Mosler right under the rear bumper of the Ferrari. They head out onto the new F1 start-finish straight past the great big wing. Great facility here at Silverstone.
Yeah, Silverstone wing is definitely something you have to go and visit. Is already coming into the pits with a problem there. Is that the Pool and Abra? Oh, and there's a bigger problem in the number 57 car just now as they're coming down and parking off to the side. That's a little TVR, and it looks like it's the end of the day for them.
That's a disappointed start, isn't it? There'll be 2 or 1 very disappointed drivers in the pit lane as the Mosler pulls out to have a look at the Ferrari as they head up to a really quick section, and it looks like the job is already done. The Mosler now leads.
Yeah, the Glenn and Clark TVR as we saw parking up there. But back into the complex, that Mosler is just a class of the field, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a class act. You can see he started nice and steady, didn't want to get into a scrap with the Ferrari, unnecessary contact, and he's in the lead now.
Yeah, the Mosler is a car that came to Britain and done the GTCs a couple of years ago. It's up the inside, goes the Rapier, but it just couldn't get past the Ferrari there. But I was saying, the Mosler, it came and it just set fire to the British GT Championship.
It did indeed, and the Ferrari, you could see there, wasn't up for giving away that second place. Again, thinking with the sprint car head.
No, definitely trying to keep in there is Kevin Clark's Intersport car. It does a good job, but already in the pit lane, the number 88 car of Ben Goyer.
Yeah, the BMW's off. You saw that happening 10 seconds before it spun there. The rear-wheel drive BMW, the number 77 car on the grass. And another problem as well down at Copse.
Yeah, that looked like a mechanical failure there. That was Wayne Gibson we saw spinning out first of all, but that looks like a fairly big mechanical failure at Copse.
It does indeed. The 2 TVRs, I think they were heading down the Hanger Straight, was Nelson Piquet and Nigel Mansell style there, jinking left and then right to make the move as they headed into Stowe.
Oh, classy stuff, Joe. You remember that? You got good memory. But back into...
I wasn't born then, obviously.
Back into the complex already as the Ben Gore car makes its way out onto the circuit straight away. And thankfully that they've managed to do a little bit of running repair status into the complex. Comes a Ferrari pit. It goes almost close and almost hits the back of the Ferrari. Far too early in the race, Joe.
Yeah, I don't think that was intentional. I think that he got caught out with how slow the Ferrari was heading around that left-hander there, but out onto the Wellington straight and back at the front. The Mosler starting to stretch its legs. Look at the lead that he has now.
Oh, and the SR2's overtaken the Ferrari and it's got itself into second place. I honestly thought it'd be closer. Javier Marcelo in that Mosler. He was only a tenth of a second ahead of the Andy Schultz and Paul Bailey car, so a tenth of a second in qualifying, but the Mosler is absolutely leagues ahead in the race.
Yeah, well, these guys are scrapping so hard for second place. It's certainly helping the Mosler stretch his legs. He's got clean air, and having said that, he's broken free now in second place. He's got a little bit of trouble with traffic, but he squeezes past as they head out onto the hangar straight and the 88 car into the pit lane.
And let's hear from Danielle in the pits.
Okay, here still in the paddocks, and Motion Sport have just come back in again. I think they've got the same problem, but I don't want to interrupt them because it's just way too stressed out at the moment. Let's see if they get back on that track.
So a little bit of insight from Danny in the pits there of what's going on with that car. The guys are pretty stressed out, she's saying, Joe, you could imagine.
Yeah, it's a stressful thing early on in the race. A big long race like this, the last thing you want is a niggly problem right at the very beginning. See a little battle here heading down towards the new F1 first corner.
Yeah, Abbey's an awesome corner, isn't it? It's a very, very quick corner. That's the Tarrant Willis and the Hollings car. Charlie Hollings is a man that's been about for a little while in single-seater racing.
Yeah, an established driver, single-seater, has loads of experience, and I'm sure that he's enjoying driving the 430.
As you could imagine, though. Pit stops, very important part of the pit stops is you cannot have the new driver go in the car until the pit stop has been refueled, and every pit stop has got a minimum time, and that changes. It depends from circuit to circuit of what that time's going to be, but you've got to have a good pit crew. That's one of the things. If you don't have a good pit crew that doesn't know what they're doing, your day's over.
Yeah, you've got that minimum time, but obviously you want to be bang on the minimum time.
How did you get on?
Absolutely superb. Obviously, started pole, held pole all the way through. It was good. Tyres were good. The car was performing well. The setup brilliant. So yeah, now we should just hold that lead, catch it back up again. Yeah, it's a good start. Good start to the race.
Excellent stuff. How did you find that change, Amy? Do you think you guys were quite quick?
Reasonably quick. Yeah, it was good. Good first one. It'll get better. Just keep watching.
Excellent stuff. Thanks very much. Good luck.
Thanks, Danielle. It's great to hear from a driver when his adrenaline's still pumping and he's just finished his stint in the car. In comes a track torque car. It's quite early for a pit stop. Is this a mechanical issue with this car as they make their way in towards pit lane? A great onboard footage here that we're getting from the cameras. And, well, we don't know, but back at the front, the Mosler's been caught up by the SR2 Rapier.
I didn't see that coming. Yeah, that's a great drive. You have to think that he's punching above his weight here a little bit, isn't he? He's caught the Mosler from miles behind and he's made the move, and it looks like it's sticking, but disappointment in the pit lane for the number 88 Lotus.
Yeah, it looks like they've maybe not called it a day yet, but they're not far away from it, are they?
No, and Bailey, the inboard.
So we're going to see the black Ferrari, the black Schultz and Bailey car coming in this time. They're into the loop, the new area of the track, and the pit crew are waiting for them. A few orders going about. A driver stands very nervous at the side there.
Yeah, it's a horrible time, isn't it? You're waiting there to get in the car. It's your chance to shine. The teammate's done a great job. He led early on, and a solid third position. That car will be handed to him.
So in comes the number 57, the TVR. That's managed to get itself going as well, which is quite good. The Glynn and Clark car, because we did see that stopping at the end of the hangar straight. And also comes the SR2, and that's going to park in the wrong bay almost.
He realised at the last minute that he was heading towards the wrong bay. This is, of course, our lead car, is it?
It is the lead car at the moment, yes. Into the pit lane he comes, and yeah, that would have been a disaster if he'd gone to the wrong spot.
Yeah, you see Formula 1 drivers do it, so we won't blame him too much had he had pulled that off.
And in comes Andy Schultz in the number 3 car as well, and they park that car up, and this is the first service of the day for this 430 Ferrari, and the driver, yeah, this is where you see drivers basically getting wrenched out the car.
Yeah, that's what the lapels on the suit are for, is to pull them clean out the cars during a GT pit stop.
It's a little bit harsh, but drivers get a little bit cuddly, a little bit friendly, and then all of a sudden do a headlock to pull the other driver out. So the driver's out the car, they can now fuel that car, they can put the car in. It's not pumped fuel, it's all gravity fed, so it seems like it takes a day and an age.
Indeed, yeah, you can see the team working away here. The driver's now changing seats. Sometimes they have a wee seat insert, but these two guys look like they're a similar kind of build, similar kind of size. If it was me and you in the car, Dunk, I'd certainly need a seat insert.
Thank you very much for that. Oh, they've dropped the car off the jacks. An absolute disaster for the Andy Schultz racing car. They've dropped the car off the jacks. So let's just hope that's not done any damage, mate.
Yeah, that could have caused a lot of damage, especially if his hand had been in between the wheel and the wheel arch.
Absolutely, that could have been a disaster. The mechanic could have got injured or anything, but they could have broken exhaust as the The Rapier makes its way back out just now. And have we got an issue with this car? Is there something wrong with the front right wheel? It looks like there could be. We're almost at the hour point of the race, and this is a bit of drama that not any team wants. There's fluid, Joe.
Yeah, fluid pouring out the front of the car. Burst radiator for the Ferrari. Not a huge job to fix it, but when there's people flying by and you're losing position all the time.
Anyway, Marcelo, Cintrano and White lead the way from Millard and Heward and Bailey and Schultz.
Owen, how was your race start? And also, when you are starting a race, are you thinking about the other drivers or literally just focused on what's in front of you?
Our race start was particularly good. We started in 4th because of Neil's good qualifying lap. I found myself in 3rd at the as we came out of the first corner. I think the Rapier got stuck behind the Ferrari, so held that until the Rapier caught me back up at the end of the hanger straight. So he went through, and then we had a good battle with the other Marcos of Tiger for a good 6 or 7 laps. In terms of the race start, for us, it's just staying out of trouble. Make sure you're in the right gear for when those lights go out. Concentrate on the lights. Don't worry too much about what's going on around you. When those lights go out, just put your foot on the floor and go for it. Just go for it.
Don't look back. And David, there was quite a difference compared to the Ferrari at the very start, and also the very slow-paced Mosler. Why do you think that was?
It shows the what was referred to earlier, the essence of endurance racing. With the Mosler, they decided it's a 3-hour race. We'll bed ourselves in nice and gently, keep out of trouble on the first lap, just build everything up in the car, nice and progressive, get the tyre temperatures up, don't push too hard to begin with. The Ferrari went flat out as if it was a sprint race and made the early running, but then towards the end of his stint, you could see the car was really fading, but the Mosler was still going on strong, overtook, and then just pulled away. And it had the stint pace of the Mosler was much more impressive because he'd taken that time at the beginning just to bring the car in more progressively.
Yeah, he made it look very easy. Very easy. Well, you know what, guys? Join us after the break for more race action.
With so much racing going on in the world, you'd have to be a four-headed monster to keep up with it all. Luckily, we have that. Join Peter Keane, Bill Wood, Errol Tucker, and their guest driver analysts each week for an opinionated look at the news coming out of the racing world. Remember, it's GoRacingTV.com for all your racing and video needs.
Welcome back. Now, Owen, can you talk us through a pit stop?
Yeah, sure. Our strategy was to stop twice in this race. We were hoping to benefit from a safety car at maybe an hour and 20 or an hour and a half. That didn't happen. Everyone kept it on the black stuff, which is always nice. So we came in, scheduled pit stop about an hour 20. Britcar regulations stipulate you have to have a minimum of 115 seconds in the pits. So that basically means that there isn't really a mad rush, but at the same time you can't really afford to get anything wrong. One of the main rules is that no one is allowed to touch the car when it's being refueled. So generally what happens is as we come into the pit lane, pull into the pit box, the driver's straight out of the car is refueled, and then once they've finished refueling, then we can install the next driver, and then everybody else can get on with changing tyres, etc. Once everyone's settled down and we've got our times right and we make sure that we're not inside the 115 seconds, then it's our team manager's job to release the car and off we go again.
And as a driver, what goes through your mind when you have a pit stop?
If I'm bringing the car in, then clearly it's just making sure, A, we get the right pit box. And very often, especially if it's under safety car conditions, it can be pretty busy. You might find that the car in front of your pit box has got their crew around it, so you have to watch out you don't run anybody over on the way in. But clearly it's just making sure that you get in, you get out of the car, and you just get out of the way. Let the guys get on with their jobs. If you're getting in the car, then equally stand back, stay calm, let them refuel the car, let them do what they need to do, get installed properly, make sure we check our mirrors and radios before we go out. It's always a bit of a bugbear if you haven't checked your mirrors and you find yourself out for a 2-hour stint, you can't see what's coming up behind you. But there we are.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very, very much, Owen. And, well, let's go back to the race and also catch up with the Ferrari team and see how they're getting on following their recent problems.
So we're back on track here, and we've just seen the Schultz car in the pit lane and the driver getting out of that car. But meanwhile, at the head of the field, it's the Clark car again. That BMW M3 is just all over. It's just full of action, that BMW.
It is, and here we have a real good battle in the infield section. I say that as the number 25 Ferrari spins off into the grass. He's got to get that in a gear and get going as quick as he can. And again, another fine battle through a really quick section of the circuit as they're heading out towards the hangar straight.
25 car, the Phillips and the Story car going for a little trip into the greenery there. He gets it back going, and he'll head back round and try and get those tyres clean, because that's very important when you run on slick tyres, as the Mosler just demonstrates power, speed and accuracy. Absolutely spot on through Beckett's there.
As the number 3 Ferrari gets pushed into the garage, they've got a radiator to fix as quick as they can. 25 Ferrari, driver change this time. The pressure's on not to spin as he heads back out the pit lane as it burbles down this huge pit lane at Silverstone. They're on the pit lane limiter, not like the days if you've seen the Seta movie when it was 150 mile an hour in the pit lane. They're restricted for safety reasons these days, obviously.
The one driver's just had a spin in the 25 car. There's then a big pressure on the second driver going out not to put it in the scenery or the shrubs straight away. There's
pressure or there's frustration that that's just happened, because no doubt the car was slightly further up the field than it was before it spun.
Well, that's always very true, Joe. I like your take on that. The Porsche gets a little pit stop and it makes its way away. All these cars seem a little bit kind of sluggish, and they don't sound the best on I'm not saying anything wrong with them, but yeah, I'll just move on from this, I think, as the Mosler comes in the pits.
Yeah, the Mosler, these things aren't designed to trundle down the pit lane. They'll be fitted with a pit lane speed limiter, just in case the driver isn't 100% accurate, because you will see a speed gun being pointed at them. We'll see a driver change, and there's that seat insert that I was talking about as well. Fuel going in the car. This is all very seamless, very professional. These guys are on it today, aren't they?
You love talking about the seamless, the seat insert, and you keep looking at me. It's I think you're starting to bully me a little bit, Joe. But the wheels are back on the big Mosler. It goes down, and we will hear from Javi Marcelo in the pits.
We just saw your pit stop. How did it all go for you?
At the minute, very well. We managed to lead most of the first stints. The Ferrari was a very wide car, and it took me a while to get past. And the Rapier is, I think, it's a faster car than us. So I think it's going to be between the Rapier and us, depending on fuel stops and consumption. But our pace is good. The car is fantastic. Felt very good. I'm very, very happy.
So you hear from Javier Marcelo there. He thinks, Joe, that it is between the Mosler and the Rapier. That's where he sees the battle. Obviously he knows that Andy Schultz and Paul Bailey are in the pits, but he thinks he's got the legs, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, I think they do. Like I said before, as long as there's no mechanical issues, they seem to have it at this early stage. If I'm tempting fate at all, they seem to have it cleaned up at the minute. But the wee white sports car did come past them early on, didn't he?
Yeah, it's not easy to say that they've got it in the back yet, as the Britcar having a good battle at the end of the hangar straight here, and thankfully they've got that car back out from the London Stewart car, and the battle raging.
Yeah, he's defending, locking up as well. He runs wide. Look at the cutback here. He's got a little bit wide to beat that. I think he got onto the loose, and the cutback didn't quite work as they head out onto the new F1 section. Meanwhile, in the pit lane, we have more action, more driver changes going on here.
The nervous driver checks his feet are still there.
Yeah, he's doing that numb hand thing that you get, isn't he, just before it's time to get in the car. As we see the Ferrari making a nice move. Is that for position?
It could well be the number 54 car there. That's Charlie Hollings' car. He's going to be jumping in that. Notable single-seater racer.
Yeah, we spoke about Charlie earlier on. He'll be enjoying his run in that 430 Ferrari. And you can see another driver change here. Fuel going in. A couple of nervous drivers waiting around. Some of these teams have 2 drivers. Some of them obviously with 3. Like our lead car, the Mosler, 3 drivers in that car.
Yeah, well, the 3 drivers could do an hour each, or if there's a quicker driver, he could have the more dominant stint. If they've got the 2 drivers, it's really an hour and a half each, and we'll kind of see, we'll wing it from there. I think maybe some of the teams are doing.
If it was me or you, Dunk, we could do 10 minutes each.
Yeah, I think that's probably all we would last. I've seen the way you drive cars, mate. Gearboxes, oh dearie me, you would never get an endurance race.
Great big sticky set of slicks as I change the subject there, Duncan, as the Ferrari trundles down the end of the pit lane.
So we're doing a good job here. The guys are ticking away the laps, and in number 99 car, we've seen that in all sorts of battles. That's the London Stewart car, the little Chevron GR8, but there is the class of the field. It's not the track speed car, it is the Mosler.
Yeah, the Mosler just cutting through the traffic, everything under control, everything going really, really smoothly for these guys at the minute, but it gives you that eerie feeling that it isn't going to remain that way when you're stood on the pit wall.
Yeah, you have moments like that in the pit wall where everything's going fine, and dare you say, oh, this is a good race, and then the next thing you come around with a puncture, but Holland's having a big look up the inside there and trying to force the Ferrari through a rather un-Ferrari sized gap.
Yeah, 4 different classes in this race, so especially again for our Mosler, our leader doing the lapping, he's in amongst battles as well. These guys aren't just cruising around, they're all racing within their class.
That's a bit of endurance race. Nice to think that it was like, trundle around for 3/4 of the race and put a few fast laps in, but these guys are on it from the word go. And look, the number 3 car is at the garage.
Yep, repaired that burst radiator. I think we're going to have a wee chat to the driver, hopefully, if we get a chance.
Yeah, we'll head back down to the pit lane where Danny will have some information for us.
Guys, keep those smiles going. You guys did an amazing job just then.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you just turn it around?
We've learned running Ferraris over the last few years that you have to just do what you can because they'll do anything to surprise you. You know, I said this is a new car to us. You know, we had a problem with the radiator. It looks like the bottom core of the radiator has split. Maybe it's vibration, something's gone through it. We've done a race repair and we're going to see how we get on.
So, well, we've heard from the team there. They certainly will not be getting a postcard from Maranello, Joe.
No, a race repair, cable ties, gaffer tape, I would imagine, a race repair, if it's anything like mine anyway, or yours, in fact, Duncan.
Thank you very much, but they've managed to repair a radiator. Now, I would rather take the radiator and change it, but if they've repaired a radiator in the car, hats off to that team, because the Ferraris, everything's so compact and packed away, Joe, because it's a proper little race car.
Yeah, that's the beauty of these big long races. If you have a small technical problem like that in a sprint race, it's game over, but these guys can get it in the garage and another race to get the thing fixed.
Absolutely, as the big rapier makes its way down, burbles down the pit lane. That sounds cracking, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Again, that pit lane speed limiter keeping everything in check. They're keeping an eye out for the speed gun.
Well, 1 hour 59 minutes so far gone in this race. We're just up on the 2 hour mark, and at the end of the 2 hour mark, it couldn't be more closer. The leader in the Class 1, Javier Morcello, he is just a man on a mission. O'Neill and Huggins are Class 2. Adams, Green and Martin Byford are leaders in Class 3. And Class 4 is the Gibson and Clark BMW.
Join us after the break for the closing hour of the race and more from our studio guests.
Club and amateur racer. Here at GoRacingTV, we salute you. And we want to give you all the tools and info to compete with the best. Find out how to do it all from your own garage by watching our Club Racer and Autocrosser shows. GoRacingTV.com, supplying all your video racing needs.
Welcome back. Now, before we get back to the race action, let's talk to Owen O'Neill. Hello, Owen.
Hello.
Finally got time to talk. First of all, how did you get into racing?
I was involved quite heavily in the with TVRs over the years, and had the opportunity to do an arrive and drive. So basically, dip my toe in it without committing myself to buying a car. In 2008 with a TVR Griffith 500. I then moved from that into a TVR Tuscan in the TVR series, and then from there got introduced to Warren at Top Cats Racing, and somehow got lured into one of Warren's Marcoses in 2008 for the 24-hour. I then joined them in 2010 for the full season in Britcar, which I've really, really enjoyed. So it's been a stepping stone for me from the TVRs through to Class 3 in Britcar, and now we're in Class 2.
And for you, what's it like being in a race? Do you get that adrenaline rush?
It's absolutely fantastic, yes. You can't help but get excited. It really is big boys' toys. I mean, for me, my objective when I go racing is number one objective is to enjoy myself. And thankfully, we were able to achieve that. You know, especially with the Top Cats team. You know, Warren runs a really good team. Some really good guys there. They're very, very professional. Run great cars, but they also know how to have a good time. So, a weekend away racing is almost like a weekend away with the boys, really. So it's very good fun in that respect.
And I'm sure your wife loves that. Weekend away with the boys.
To be fair, she does. We always go as a family, and because a lot of other people bring their wife and children. So, you know, we've got a motorhome. Other people turn up, and we make a family weekend of it.
Wow, and we were talking a little bit earlier on, actually, about the crash that you were in.
Which one?
Yeah, there's been so many, but what's it like for you as a driver, knowing, or do you not think about the crash risks? Is that something that you can't think about?
I think everybody is aware of the risks, but you take it into account when you go racing. I suppose you don't tend to put it to the back of your mind because that would tend to be a little bit silly, but you're certainly aware of the risks and you minimise them where possible.
And do you have a favourite race that you were in? Anything that really stands out?
Yeah, two that stand out, both with Top Cats, both in the orange Marcos, which I've bonded with over the last few years now. I almost feel like it's become my car. But certainly in 2008 at the 24 Hour, I'll never forget, I'd only done 5 races at that point, and got persuaded by Warren, he's very persuasive, to do the race with him. And my first stint in the 24 Hour was 11 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And I never forget standing there waiting to get in the car 11 o'clock at night at Silverstone, extremely nervous, knowing that I couldn't back out. But then you get in the car and you get on with it. And we led that race for 11 hours. We were a Class 3 car with me driving, and we led the race for 11 hours, so I was very pleased with that one. And then at the end of last season, we won the Brands Hatch race into the night race overall. We had a fantastic battle with Rod and Jay. Myself and Henry Fletcher had a fantastic battle with those guys, where they were closing us down towards the end of the race, and we were trying to keep them at bay. And in the end, after a 3-hour race, we won by something like 15 seconds. So it was brilliant to finish the season with an overall win.
That is incredible. And in this current race, the MSA British Endurance Championship, you're in Class 2. And how is that for you? Are you enjoying it?
Love it. I mean, we've only done one race so far.
Yeah.
The biggest difference for me was coming onto the Hanger Straight at Silverstone, putting my foot on the floor and realising the difference between the unrestricted engine, as it is now in Class 2, and what we've been running for the last 2 years in Class 3, where it has been restricted to meet class regulations. It absolutely flies, and I love the car. It's not scary to drive. It can be intimidating. We don't have the benefit of ABS or traction control. You know, lots of the modern cars, such as the Ferraris and the Porsches, have ABS, traction control, flappy paddle gearboxes, air conditioning, coffee makers, all the rest of it. You know,
Sounds luxurious.
Well, they are by comparison. If you ever get in a Marcos, they're very straightforward.
Brilliant. Well, look, thank you very, very much, Owen, and good luck for the rest of the races coming up this year.
Thank you.
Now, let's get back to the race for the final hour.
So as we see the Mosler powering down towards the Hanger Straight, it really has been all Mosler. Javier Marcelo and his team coming into the pit lane, well, picked up a great little queue for them there.
Yeah, Trundling again down the pit lane, 3 drivers, so plenty of pit stops around Mosler, but everything going swimmingly so far, so we're well inside that third and final hour of the race.
Manuel Centrino brings it into the pit lane, and it will be Mr. Paul White taking over from that car, as that's one of my favourite cars, I've got to say. I am a big fan of BMW M3 GTRs.
Yeah, it's a very DTM looking car there, isn't it? The old DTM cars, there's the 52 Porsche pulls up as well. Fuel going in.
Gravity fed fuel. These guys would love to have pump fuel where it gets absolutely dumped in. Is that the track speed car? Is that the 71 track speed car getting pushed in there?
Certainly looked that way with the marshal shoving him enthusiastically towards his pit garage. Come on guys, keep pushing, there we go.
The track torque car, I'll just correct myself there actually, I was getting too excited. I wonder if they've run that dry on fuel.
It looks that way, just been caught short slightly of making it to the pit lane, but thankfully the marshal's doing a great job and getting him pushed back into the pit lane as the battle rages on further down. The Ginetta G50 there running out wide.
Well, they've got the track torque car back out the garage. Somebody on the pit wall has to do the calculations, and somebody has to do the sums, and somebody has to carry the blame.
Oh, you don't want to stand there too long. That's a horrible place to stop. Careful, boys. You don't want to get unsighted there on the exit curb.
Was that our Rapier? Was that our SR2 Rapier?
It's a number 8 car. It certainly is, Duncan. It certainly is. And the marshals again pushing him clear of the circuit. A scary moment there.
As the Kevin Clark Wayne Gibson car comes in, that's a disaster. That has just left the path, and there's somebody else smoking coming in the pits. This is starting to get that time of the race, Joe, where things just start falling off the cars.
Yeah, it's that final little stint as the Ferrari comes in and reminds himself of all that fluid that emptied out the car earlier on. Final pit stop for those guys as the Mosler still pressing on, everything going so smoothly for these guys. I keep jinxing them, but they're doing such a great job as the number 3 Ferrari trundles back out the pit lane for their final stint.
Yeah, let's head back down to Danny in the pit lane.
Okay, with an amazing comeback with the mechanics changing everything over. How was your leg of the race?
Yeah, it was amazing because the guys managed to solder the radiator in place. It had cracked, so they soldered it and put some sort of steel gunge on it. It dried, we refilled the car, we went out. The idea is that if we can finish 50% of the race in comparison to the lead car, then we get all our points. Now, we were focusing on perhaps finishing P4, but one of the cars in our class has just dropped out, so we're now P3. So if we finish, it's a podium. It doesn't get any better after the team worked so hard to get us back out.
Excellent. Well, congratulations to you and such a fantastic team.
Yes, thanks very much, guys, and thank you, team. Cheers.
Take care.
Thank goodness for steel guns, Duncan, that's all I can say.
God save the steel guns. Well, it's holding it together. It's an endurance race, it's a racing repair. You did say my one was it duct tape?
Duct tape and cable ties, but steel guns is a new one to me, but it seems to be doing its job, doesn't it?
The Mosler getting tanked up with some of the fuel there in the pit lane, and that will be making its way back out. Armel Centrino's done a good job, and he's handed over to All White, and he's away making his way burbling down the pit lane. That looks like the Intersport car. That looks like Kevin Clark. It is. It's 77. Oh, disaster! It's that time of the day though where things are getting stressed, Joe.
Yeah, we have the 53 car spun as well. The lovely looking G55, one of my favourite cars at the moment, but it certainly is getting to that stage of the day.
Out of the pit, some cold tyres. Look what's happening.
Doesn't matter. I think he's got a 20-lap lead over that Ferrari after the radiator change.
And that's the SR2. They're back into the pit lane after stopping out on track. Now, have they just stretched that fuel mileage too far, or was it more of a technical issue? We'll soon find out as they make their way back to the pit lane and try and get that thing back up to racing speed.
As we have a retirement, I can't make up the number with my bad eyesight, but he's gone into the wrong pit lane. He's heading into the new F1 complex.
That was our little Chevron GR8. That was the London Stewart car, number 99, and yet he's not even made the Formula 1 pit lane. What a disaster. But it looks at the cement dust down there. He's not been the only one that's had an issue this week there.
Indeed, and here's a great little battle here as they head out onto the new F1, and it wants to go right around the outside there. I'd have kept my foot in on the left hand side, but I don't think the stewards would have liked that, but he maybe would have made it as they head up to the really quick section. Next lap round, and again, same thing. Can the Porsche? No, he's covering that wide line that I mentioned, but he's done him on the right hand side.
Yeah, comprehensively the Lerman said there, didn't he? The race is getting long, and we are at the end, and this is the car, the team, the crew that have rocked it from the beginning. The Mosler, they are the guys. They have been basically untouchable today, Joe.
Yeah, a great performance. He could almost push it home from here if he could accelerate out of this final corner. One more bend to go before he takes the checkered flag. It's been a great performance. And as he comes across the line, he's only got one headlight. That wouldn't pass an MOT, would it, done?
It certainly won't, but it's good enough for them to win today. That's all that matters. Your winner today in the Class 1 car is the Mosler. What a fantastic drive from these guys. Setting the pace from qualifying, through testing, qualifying, and being the dominant force in the race. So as the Mosler gets itself into Parc Fermé, it is Javi Marcelo who takes that car to a very dominant victory today. A good bit of driving from all three drivers, with the O'Neill and Huggins car in second, and Tarrant Williams and Charlie Hollings in the third position car in their Ferrari. Donovan and Dudfield come home in fourth position, and as we look at the championship positions, Adams, Green and Byford are leading with 36 points. Alongside them, joint championship leaders are O'Neill and Huggins, Melham and Guglielmi with Marcelo in the big Mosler in third position, equal. We look forward to seeing you guys at Donington. It's goodbye from us just now.
So David, the merger of last year's Mosler teams meant that they were a force to be reckoned with. So was it a foregone conclusion that they were going to win this race?
I don't think so. When you look at the pace of the three leading cars in particular, the Ferrari was there or thereabouts in the qualifying. They had their problems in the race. They pushed that car hard to begin with, and then they had their reliability issues. But also the Rapier had its mechanical problem partway through or towards the end of the race. But they were nip and tuck with the Mosler all the way through, and I think it could have gone either way if it hadn't have been for that incident.
Yeah, very, very exciting. Well, look, let's go over to Danielle, who is talking to the race winners.
Congratulations for winning. How does it feel to be a winner today here on Motors TV?
Over the moon. It's fantastic. The guys deserve this. They built such a good car. It's unbelievable. It's exactly the same as the first lap of the race.
Well, congratulations to you. How was it for you out there?
Very long, very hot. I think Owings did a short stint for reasons I haven't yet found out. So I couldn't believe it was in the car, and then they came on the radio, said, right, an hour to go. And I said, fella, I've been in here for an hour already. How can I possibly still have more time to go? But the car was great. We picked up pace when we needed to. We did the second fuel stop, which I was very nervous about. But it all worked out. The guys did a good job, did their maths well, and slowed me down when they needed to. Told me to pick up the pace when I needed to, and it was perfect. Great, what can I do?
Excellent. Well, congratulations to you, and good luck for the rest of the series.
Thanks very much, guys. Cheers.
Well, time before we go, just to remind you of our competition. You can find out more on our Britcar website, which is www.britcar24hour.co.uk/competition, where you can also find lots of information about the championship and buying tickets for the race weekends. Thank you again to our studio guests. Thank you, David. Thank you, Owen.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Join us next time for all the action with the MSA British Endurance Championship.